Hey, Highland County Real Estate, Randy Butler here. We're sitting in Classic Real Estate's office, and I have a very special guest, Mr. Bill
yeah.
Fawley.
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Bill Fawley, the Highland County Auditor. A little bit about Bill Fawley for anybody that has been in Hillsborough for the last 50 years. His father, Mr. Edgar Fawley, taught at Hillsborough for 30 plus years at least. So anyway, we're here last week. I had the treasurer, Vicki Warnock, and kind of find out, I learned that too, that basically her job is just kind of collect and then invest the money. So, and Bill is here today to kind of describe a little bit what the auditor's office does. How does that work?
All right. First of all, in Ohio, a county auditor's office is really almost two separate offices. We have the office side that takes care of the budgetary things with the county. We write all the checks, we do the payroll for the county, that kind of thing, sell licenses. Then we have the other side of the office that is real estate, which is the real estate assessment side. And I jokingly have said for many years that it just seemed like when Ohio was being formed, they said, all right, the recorder's going to record deeds, and the treasurer's going to collect money, and the engineer's going to build roads, and anything that's left, we just put in the auditor's office. The auditor's office just seems to get, I'm not sure what our connection is to selling dog tags and junkyard licenses and vendor's licenses, cigarette license. Yep, we sell those things.
How long have you been the auditor?
It will soon be 28 years.
Wow.
In March, I will be starting my new term after 28 years.
Great. In regards to the real estate, when we get the tax bill, and nobody likes to get those twice a year, but we get those, how do you calculate how much tax is owed?
All right, we go out and in Ohio, we have to do a complete reappraisal every 6 years. We look at every property, and we have to use licensed mass appraisers. And we get this question a lot, why don't we use local appraisers? They are not mass appraisers. There is a different appraisal to get a value for tax purposes versus a value for bank purposes. So you may have some local appraisers that go out and appraise property for a mortgage, that kind of thing. Well, they may look at things a little differently than what we do. And when we're talking about mass appraisals, we're talking about, we have a total parcel count in Highland County of 32,000 some odd parcels. Wow. Now, a lot of that's just vacant land, but also then we get into all the...
Is it typically the tax appraisal a little cheaper?
Usually.
Or is it?
Usually, but we're supposed to be pretty much on market. What ends up happening, every time you guys bring in a conveyance, a copy of that conveyance that shows what the property was sold for, a copy of that goes to the Department of Taxation in Columbus. So then when we get ready to do reappraisals and things, they will tell us that we think, we'll just say, City of Hillsborough residential should go up 10%. Well, now they're saying a total of 10. So we may have some that are 5 and some that are 15 or 20. But the total has to come out to that 10. And that number is picked by basing it on what the sales have been over the previous 3 years. So we get in that, and we have to break this down by every taxing district. And we have 53 taxing districts in the county. And for instance, Clay Township is the only one that's in one taxing district. It's Clay Township, Lynchburg Clay Local School District, and that's it. Because we get into things like Fairfield Township, well, part of it is in East Clinton, and part of it's in Hillsborough, and part of it's in Fairfield. Wow. So each one of those has to have a separate taxing district. So there, we're only comparing properties in that taxing district. So we're not going to say, all right, Hillsborough sales are up, so therefore we're going to raise Greenfield. Doesn't work that way. We compare each neighborhood for each taxing district.
It's kind of a complicated process. At least to me it does. Maybe not to you.
It is, and it's not a perfect system. I mean, we could even send out to appraisers within a couple of days, and they may come back with different values.
Sure. I remember in the past when we had all the foreclosures, a house was sold for $100,000, and then it went foreclosure, sold for $40,000. Well, the person that bought it obviously didn't want to pay the taxes for the $100,000. That was a big issue there a few years ago. I remember that.
And if it is a bank foreclosure or something like that, those sales are listed as being non-valid. So they aren't used in the formula that the state uses to give us these numbers that we have to go by. you know, but, well, I forget where I was gonna go with that.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah.
and nobody likes to pay taxes. Nobody likes
No.
that, but we have to for a government
Well.
and everything to work, you know, there has to be,
Well.
that has to be a part of it.
And-
I know
and-
I saw one time, it's kind of a after you go through what district and township and all that, and I've read it one time, it's kind of like when you get your insurance policy, trying to read and understand, at least to somebody like me, but there's a formula you go by, and I kind of forget how it goes, to where you calculate the actual dollar amount, correct?
Correct. And in Ohio, we take what we consider our market value. So let's say we've put $100,000 on your house or any kind of building. In Ohio, you take 35% to be the taxable value.